right in my face too.
We got your back.
It's like, no. Amen. God is good.
God is good.
Amen.
We're going to win. I want to tell you, we're going to win. We're not losers. We're not made to be the tail. We're made to be the head. We're going to be blessed going in and coming out.
That's right.
We are not going to lose this race. We're not going to lose this fight. You know, weeping is not going to even endure for a night. Joy is going to come right now. You got to believe that.
That's right. That's right. Right now.
It's not over. It's just beginning. These are called labor pains. I ain't never been in labor. But I was standing right next to him. And my. That ain't no joke. And that's how it is. You know, there's an old song by Smokey Robinson. You gotta have the agony. I'm gonna leave that alone. You know what I mean, right? I'm talking about bittersweet. Is that better? We're going to get the oil. we need a spray on kind, like Pam. Need to follow the whole house. My.
Oh, man.
That's okay. We're all alive and living and breathing, right? Amen. But I feel like God is going to do it.
That's right.
He will do it.
Yes, he will. Amen.
You know, I mean, I can tell you about so many small victories I've had. I mean, sometimes we stand up here and we might get a clean shirt on and everybody say, wow, okay. But they don't know where I found it. They don't know somebody gave it to me. There's 2 Goodwills in my neighborhood, right? And thank God for small victories. Sometimes it gets very difficult. Very, very difficult. You know, it's an abomination how difficult it can get. And that's why I can stand here and tell you it's going to be all right.
It's going to be all right. Yes.
And you're going to win.
Yes. I'm going to win.
You believe that?
Okay.
We're going to turn in our Bibles quickly. We're going to turn to Psalms 27. Just crack open the Bible to the middle.
That's really fun.
Psalms 27. Come on. Bust a move. And you gotta please stand. If you don't gotta stand anyway. Come on, what's going on here? Let's go. Psalms 27, verses 1, 2, 3, and 4. And it reads, the Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? When the wicked, even my enemies and my foes, came upon me to eat up my flesh, they stumbled and fell. Though a host should encamp against me, my heart shall not fear. Though war should rise against me, in this will I be confident. One thing I have desired of the Lord, that I will seek after, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, to behold the beauty of the Lord, and to inquire in his temple. Lord, we thank you. Lord, we need you. Please be seated. Lord, we just have to have you today. Lord, there are so many shattered pieces laying all around our feet, Lord, and as we walk on them, God, they hurt, oh God. Lord, we're asking you to pick up those pieces and make them whole. God, you said even to Ezekiel, to speak to those dry bones. Lord, speak to our dry bones today. Father God, sometimes we are so undone. Lord, we don't even know where to begin. We don't know how to even name it. We don't even have the idea to even ask the question for what we want, Lord. But right now, all we know is your name. We know that you can do this thing. And we cry, Abba, Father, today over our situation. Help us, Lord. Be with us, oh Father God. Turn your face not against us, oh God, but open up the skies and speak, oh God. Speak to our hearts as this word comes forth. Lord, have your way. Do as you will, oh Father God. And we ask while you're saving that you don't destroy us. But that you don't, oh Father God, harm us, but you hold us in your loving hands and bring us clear through. We need you, Lord. And we're confident that you're going to do this thing. And in your holy name we say, amen. Amen. David is a great man of the Bible, and we all know David. He's the hero of some of the men in the church, right? We'd be saying, I'm like David. You know what that means, right? We out of control. Because we know how David went. We know David primarily through Bathsheba. And we know how he got into that problem. And remember that he was a man after God's own heart. So sometimes we take those two things and we push them together. We conflate them to justify conduct. But we can't.
That's right. Amen.
Because one thing we must understand, that even if we raise the example of David, is that David was a man who was troubled. David didn't have it good. David had trouble from a child through adulthood. David didn't have it easy. Nobody gave David nothing. In fact, they even tried to take it from him. They didn't want him to be king. They didn't want him to be even anointed. They did not like David. Nobody liked him. People wanted to do him in. He was a man who was always sad. Read the Psalms. You can read the Psalms and you'll read a man who praises God, but a man who's also down, depressed, and troubled, and always fighting with somebody. Right. So when you look at David, you're seeing a person who has so many problems that he has nothing else to lean on. But he knew one thing in his life that he knew he can hold on to, and that was the Lord. When David was a young man, I've said it before, but David found himself outside. He was the youngest of so many sons, but he was outside with the sheep. And when he was out there in the wilderness, he couldn't call on his mother. He couldn't call on his father. He had to learn how to fight. And if you find yourself all alone today, and you can't call on your mother, and you can't call on your father, because nobody knows how bad it hurt you, and nobody knows your situation, and you don't even understand what happened to you, and you feel like you've been hit by a truck, and all you can do is do your best to just breathe. That's all you can do, straight is breathe. All you can do is just keep your body running on automatic. That's all you can do, because you don't know what happened. You don't know what caused you to be put into this situation when you are hated and treated so badly, and there is no joy coming your way. What you have to do, like David did, you have to call on the name of the Lord anyhow. Sometimes you're stripped of everything. Sometimes you're beaten down. Sometimes your back is broken. Sometimes things are taken from you. Why? Because you're called. If you find yourself in trouble today, it's because you're called. It's because you were not made for comfort. You were not made to be comforted. You were not made to have everything given to you. You were not made to be sitting up there like that rich man who watched Lazarus come out every day and be put on the front door every morning, and Lazarus had the dogs lick his sores because nobody else had nothing to give Lazarus at all. But in the end, Lazarus was in the bosom of Abraham, and the rich man went to hell. So let me tell you, Lazarus, let me tell you, David, if you're going through your circumstance, you need to praise the Lord, because what he's done, he's given you nothing else to hold on to but his hand. You're going to win. You're going to get it done. David is not just known for his sexual peccadillos. I always said that if I had Thanksgiving, David ain't coming to my house. There was an old joke that said, the fish would stop moving, right? But that's the way God makes us, because as good as He makes us, He made us with flesh.
That's right.
And that's the problem. You see, sometimes we ignore flesh. And we think, I go to church, therefore I ain't got to worry about flesh. But let me tell you, flesh is like a wolf. It's stalking your spirit. It's trying to take you off track. Flesh don't care if it go to hell or not. Flesh is all about satisfying itself. When David talks about here that when the wicked, even my enemies and my foes, come to eat of my flesh, they stumbled and fell, he is not always talking about other people. He's talking about his demons. He's talking about his personalities. He's talking about his drives. And you don't have to worry about nobody else. It's the demons within you. It's the one who tells you you can't do it. That's nobody else. That's your mind. It's the one who tells you, like my favorite song I was talking about, that demon who'll be singing that song to you. Remember that song? R. Kelly. That's right. Y'all know that song too. And
Praise the Lord.
praise Him. I'm not the only one.
That's right. That's right. I got you.
Thank God I'm alive. But it's all right. I'm gonna tell you, because you see, I understand. You see, sometimes when we get caught up into certain things as spiritual people, it's because we're seeking something that we don't know how to get.
That's right.
One of my heroes of the Bible is the woman at the well. Now, everybody in those days, she should have been stoned. She should have been condemned. If you had a husband, you would not want him moving next door to you.
Amen.
Huh? But when Jesus saw her, Jesus understood her situation, that she was just looking for something through people. And that's the way we are. So when we find ourselves in trouble over and over and over, we have to understand that it's our flesh taking control. And I heard Deacon Fran say, sometimes Jesus got to take the wheel. You can't let the devil drive. And that's one thing David understood. God bless his soul, and that's why God said that he is a man after God's own heart. But remember, God first said that he was a man.
Right.
And subject to all the frailties thereof. David had problems. David was not a happy man. David has trouble as long as the day is long. But he understood this, and he says this to us. He says, but the Lord is my light.
Yes.
Jesus, the light of the world. In the book of John, John said that Jesus is the light, but the world comprehendeth not.
That's right.
And he said that Jesus is his salvation. And he said, whom shall I fear?
Right.
Which means that David was a man who acknowledged fear. David was a man who knew fear. Fear was something that he understood and spoke about. But he had to remember that the Lord is his light. So if you're fearing something today, I'm telling you, you're in good company. Just remember that the Lord is your light. And if you're even afraid of yourself, if you're even afraid of what yourself gonna do, and that's your biggest fear, if you are afraid of what you might do tomorrow, if you don't trust your own self, remember, the Lord is your life, and He is your salvation. He is the strength of your life. And sometimes He's going to make it so that even the power of your flesh shall stumble and fall.
That's right. That's right.
It's not going to win. You're going to win.
That's right.
And David had many problems. David talks about his problems. He said that when the wicked and mine enemies and foes. Now, when he's talking about wicked, we all have them. These are just twisted people.
Yes.
Trifling, no good. They don't know you. They don't care about you. They're just wicked. And they're looking for somebody to put down. So when you come with your situation, they got nothing good to say anyway. David, who was king, still had to deal with the wicked. So if you worry about what you got to do, even David, who had power over life and death, had these problems. And when he's talking about my enemies, he's talking about his personal enemies.
Right.
In this psalm, David was getting his just due. You see, David already took advantage of Bathsheba. And Bathsheba was the granddaughter of one of his advisors. So he knew her. She was not some arbitrary female on the roof. He knew her. He knew who she was. He knew her grandfather. When they had balls and dinners, there was Bathsheba sitting up there. So he knew who she was. And furthermore, all the men were out fighting the battle. And he was sitting up there. Come on now, you got David. And all the men in the whole town are gone.
That's right.
Come on now.
More fishes in the sea.
That's right. It was a set. He set himself up. And sometimes we set ourselves up that way for failure.
That's right.
It was rife with problems.
Right.
And then he is peeping out the window. He was a peeping Tom.
Yeah,
I mean,
That's right. That's right.
Come on now.
all the men are gone and you're peeping out the window. Okay?
Yes.
And he goes into Bathsheba. He orders her to come and they have a child. The child dies.
Yeah.
And Nathan the prophet says to him, because you've done this, there should be a curse in your house. And the curse of his house came to his children. His son Absalom had chased him from the throne. David the king fed a child that attacked him. You see, because the wages of sin is like that. We all fall short of the glory of God, you know. But the problem is that when it comes back upon us, because we think somehow that we're going to get away. We don't get away.
Don't get away.
You know, all we can do is to call on God so that it doesn't take us out of here, but we don't get away. And David found himself in this problem. So when he's talking about my enemies, he's reaping what he sowed.
That's right. That's right.
And often when we look at our problems, if we are strong enough in our mind, if we have enough faith, hallelujah Jesus, if we trust God enough, we're gonna understand how we got in this problem in the first place. Nobody put you there.
That's right. That's right.
Let's take responsibility as adults. If you want to understand how the thing works, this is how it works. God is a God is not mocked. We can't trick him. We can't say, Lord, Lord, that's the woman you gave me. That's why I ate that fruit. She gave it to me. Meanwhile, you're sitting right there looking at her, talking to the snake, and when she gave it to you, ate it. So every time we find ourselves in a problem, if we look back, there's something we did to bring it upon ourselves. It is us. It is you standing in the need of prayer.
That's right.
If Jesus is walking through here and I don't say, I got heartbreak, I got high blood pressure, I got hypertension, I got this, what's going to happen? He's going to walk right by and walk right past you. But if you're going to admit that it's your own corrupt nature causing you the problem in the first place, what he's going to do? He's going to bless you. He's going to make it happen for you. And that's why David was a man after God's own heart. Because even though David committed murder, he took advantage of somebody.
Right.
He caused a child to be killed furthermore. He still called out to Jesus. So if you find yourself in a problem, understand that it's not because you're sin. Nobody is sinless, I'm telling you. Either you did it or you liked it being done to you. Let's be straight.
That's right.
And that's why you're in a problem. So you have to admit, you got a problem.
You got a problem.
I got a problem. I got like 15 of them right now. I can name, but I'm too embarrassed.
Yes. I got a problem. Yes.
But you see, David understood one thing. I give David a lot of credit for this. See, David had a secret. The key to David is not his infidelities. The key to David is not so much his great battles, because they were done because the Holy Spirit came upon him. The key to David is this, is that he had a motivation. He had a deep motivation. He said, the one thing I've desired of the Lord that he will seek after is that he wants to dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of his life. And why does he want to be there? It's because he wants to behold the beauty of God.
Right.
Now, that's a whole different thing. And I've been on the same topic for months now, for about a month. Because when we were at the other church, we spoke about a spirit, an angel, at the throne of God. And all he says is, holy, 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 holy all day and night. Because he's beholding the glory of God. It overwhelms you. It's the understanding of why you're here, just to see his face. And David understood that the secrets of secrets, that the thing that we're all after is to meet our Maker. He understood that if he can just see his face, if he can just behold his beauty, if he can just understand what it's all about, that this is the thing that he always wanted, through all his infidelities, through all his problems, all he wanted to do is just to gaze upon the Lord. He felt it in his spirit. We too feel it in our spirit, but we modulate it into something else. We use other things, substitutes, because we want to see his glory and his greatness. We want to understand what it's all about. We want everything answered. We want to have that glorious ecstasy of just being close to God. And that angel had the opportunity to do it. And all he said all day and night was glory, 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 glory. And that's all David wanted to. That's why he was a worshiper. He was no better than me and you, but he was so honest with himself that he knew that he was no good. But he also knew that there was something out there greater than him. He understood while being alone and beaten up, while having nothing go right for him, while being chased from the throne by his own son because of his own problem, being chased by Saul. All he wanted to do is to see the Lord's face. He knew that there was nothing that could satisfy his soul but the Lord, because he tried everything else. He trusted in Saul. He trusted in Bathsheba. He trusted in murder when he killed Uriah. He trusted in being quiet while his house was in disorder. He tried everything. He stole a man's wife early in his life. His name was Nabal. Her name was Abigail. It's not the first time he did the thing with Bathsheba. He did all these things, and he found himself in a situation where he knew that what he wanted was to see Jesus' face, and he had the right motivation. And until you get the right motivation, it's not going to work. You can do what you want. You can live what's called a good life, saying to yourself, I want a nice home. You can do that too, but it's not going to satisfy, because when you get that home, who's living in there? You. And it's the same old problem that you had all along, all the time. You can say to yourself, I want this kind of husband, and you might get him, but who's with that husband? You. With your troubled self. You can say to yourself, I want Beyonce. But what Beyonce going to get? You. And it's just not going to work.
Come on.
You can say, I want a whole bunch of money, and God give it to you. And what you get with that money? You, who can't balance a checkbook, who will buy everything, who going to buy everything that you see. It's not going to satisfy you. What would it profit a man if he should what? Gain the world, but lose his soul. And David understood that he wanted to keep his soul. He knew that he didn't have anything going on for him. And nor do you either. There's nothing you can get in this world that's going to get you where you want to go. I said to you previously that even heaven at this moment is not clean, because there are demons there. Satan goes up there right now. The book of Job says that when God was bragging about Job, Satan in heaven said that skin for skin. Let me add, and I'll show you what Job can do. So even in heaven right now, if you were to be raptured there, you would still have to deal with a whole lot of mess until judgment, then things will be cleaned up. But so you can't be talking about, all I want to do is go to heaven. You can't do it. What you going to do there? You're going to have a focus, and your main focus has to be upon the Lord. When they asked Jesus, what is the greatest commandment? What did he say? To love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, mind, and soul, and to love your neighbor as you love yourself. There's no other way. So if you think that somehow there's a substitute and there's none, if you think somehow you can just say, I'm going to do wrong, but pray anyhow, you can't. Sometimes we get caught up not only in heaven, we get caught up on our faith. Like, I'm a man of great faith. That's like holding on to something and believing it's your hand that saved you. It's not your hand that saved you. It's the Lord. It's not your prayers that are going to save you. It's not it. It's not your holy walk that's going to save you. It says so in the Bible, the parable of the Pharisee and the sinner. The sinner said, forgive me, a sinner. The Pharisee said, I'm already holy. It's not these things. It's whether or not you're going to lay it on the line for the Lord. It's whether or not you're going to proclaim who the Lord is. You got to decide now, what is it going to be? Shall it be for God, or shall it be for something else? You can't be like Judas up there kissing Jesus at the Last Supper and going out and saying, what, you got $30? I'll take it. That's what we do sometimes. And you can't even be like Peter, who said, Lord, I'll fight for you. Lord, I will never forsake you. 10 minutes later, cussing people out 3 times in a row, talking about I never knew him. You just can't be like that. And until we get to a situation like we were with David, until our hearts are broken sometimes, it don't work for us. So if you're going through a heartbreak, if things are not working for you, I tell you, get up. I tell you, understand from what's coming your strength. Your strength, I'm repeating, it comes from the hills. It doesn't come from nothing else. It comes from the Lord. Every good thing comes from above. You cannot even try to focus on the creation, but it's the creator. It's not the creator. Ain't no body, ain't no thing, ain't no 30 pieces of silver, ain't no good name, ain't no car, ain't no good feeling, ain't nothing else gonna do it for you, but it's gonna have to be the Lord. And if you just make it in your mind that if I can just reach what the hem of his garment sometime, hallelujah Jesus, if I can just see his face, once you get that single-minded attitude that you ain't going for the okie doke no more, that Satan's going to try to show you the forbidden fruit, and somehow it's going to look good to you, that somehow you're going to get what you need. The devil is a liar. It's going to set you further back. Sometimes you got to focus on the tree of life. Sometimes you got to focus on what the Lord said. In his word, he said evermore, even if I gave my body to be burned, even if I had the voice to sing like angels, even if I did all these things, even if there was faith, hope, and love, that those are good, but the greatest of these is love. It's not your faith. It's not your hope. It's whether or not you truly love God. It's not that you fall every day, because I always say a righteous man, what? Fall how many times? 7. How many times he get up? And you just don't get up to the same old foolishness. You get up to the Lord. You act like God comes first. That's all you have to do. You have to read that Bible in the morning. You have to ask him. Tell him what's on your heart. Tell him what's on your heart. How else are you going to have a relationship with anything or anybody if you don't tell him what's on your heart? He is better to you than a brother. He is better to you than a mother. He is better to you than you are to yourself. So why even suffer anymore? And you got to talk to him. And if you keep talking and telling him what's wrong, all great things happen to you. The word of God says what? Seek ye the kingdom of God, and then all these things unto you. And that's what you want. Can't nobody tell you that.
Yes, Lord.
Denzel Washington can't tell you that.
That's right. Amen.
Huh? Ask his wife. Can't do it. But it's the Lord. And I'm telling you not because I read it.
Amen.
Right.
I'm telling you because I live it. And those of you who know me for years can see the difference. And it's not something that I've been doing. And it's been with failure. It's been with tears. It's been with loss. It's been with circumstances that will blow your mind. It's been trying to lay under the bed sometimes. Because it was not low enough on the bed. It's standing in the corner and crying for a year every day. It's doing all these things, but even though you're going through these things, you are not forsaken. God has not forgot. He's just taking from you those things that you don't need, that you felt you needed. And it hurts. Sigmund Freud defined love this way in Heartbreak. He said heartbreak is when it's a tearing away of the ego. So you've wrapped your ego into things that you think you need. And it hurts when it's ripping apart. But God was going to rip these things from you because he loved you. If he didn't love you, he would leave you in your sin. He would leave you right there. But he's bringing you through pain. He's bringing you through anxiety. He's telling you that none of these things that you've had before can do it for you, my sister. Everything that you thought was a crutch was nothing but an empty hole on the road to hell. He's telling you that the road is narrow. He's telling you, come to me, all ye who are heavy laden, and I shall give you rest. So the pain that you feel, the disappointment that you feel, the heartbreak that you feel is nothing but growing pains. And what you got to do is that once you're going through your growing pains, call out to the Lord. He will get it done. He wants to make you anew. He wants to bring it out of you. When the Lord God wanted Saul to turn around, he told Saul, he knocked him off his donkey. He knocked you off your donkey. Ow, it hurt. You hit your head. Everybody's watching you. It's embarrassing. You're off your donkey. And not only that, he knocked the man of the donkey and made him blind. He was blind. He had to go to the same people and humble himself that he tried to kill. So you're going through that same humiliation now. Things that you thought you would never do. How low can you go? God is going to show you how low you're going to go, because he's taken away every crutch, everything that you lean on, everything that you don't need, because he loves you. He's saying that he chastised those whom he loved. So if you're going through chastisement right now and it hurt, it's a feeling of love. I heard, I forgot her name, but she always said, because it hurts so good. It does. I'm telling you, you know what I'm talking about, and that's what you're going through. So I'm telling you, don't worry about the forsaking. Don't worry that it hurt. Don't worry that you're embarrassed. Don't worry that it looked right. Don't worry that they left. Don't worry that you lost your money. Don't worry that they got your good name all over the place. Don't worry that everything that you thought you hoped for has turned to dust. Don't worry about a single thing, because that's what God does. When he lifted up Jesus, he sent him where first? Through hell. But once you get there, you're in your hell. You're going to conquer death and hell, because you're going to save your very soul and live like David all the days of his life in the house of the Lord, and you're going to dwell forever therein, and you're going to see him. You're going to look upon his face. You're going to come through. You got to remember that the race is not for the swift, but who endure to the end. Not who moonwalk, but who endure. Take the pain, take the suffering, take the chastisement, and don't look at it as a bad thing. It's a good thing. He's bringing you out. He's going to bring you out as pure gold. Even Daniel was in what? The lion's den. And what about Meshach, Shadrach, and a bad Negro? Hallelujah, God Jesus. They threw him in that thing, in that fiery furnace. Fire so hot, the soldiers fell down and lost their lives. People can't go through what you're going through, because they'll fall down and lose their lives. But you're still standing. You're standing why? Because you got people to save. You got work to do. You were not meant to be a footstool or a dish rag. You are brought through. You are great. You don't fit in. David didn't fit in because he was not made to fit in. If you don't fit in today, you're in a good place. God is going to do it. God has called you out. God didn't call you to no bed of roses. That's childishness. You want candy for breakfast. That's what you want. Forget that stuff. Eat some vegetables. Come on now. Eat some things that are healthy for you. Get up. Grow up. Deal with it. Fight the good fight. Tell the Lord yes. And if you want the pain to end, if you want the suffering to turn around, if you want to turn around today, say yes to the Lord. Let me say, yes, Lord, yes. Say yes. Say yes, Jesus. Yes, it's me. Yes, I got problems. Yes, I'm out of control. Yes, I want to do everything that I know I shouldn't do. Say yes. It's me. I'm the bad one. It's not who left me. It's me who was with them in the first place. It's not what happened to me. It's what I allowed to happen. I'm sorry, God. Hallelujah. Why the apostles were waiting, not because they didn't have trouble. They had trouble. Them brothers had trouble. They were trying to kill them. Yes. They cut Andrew in half. They did all sorts of things to these apostles. But they didn't mind because they had already had the victory. You were made to overcome. You were made to get through. Don't sit there and be punked by the devil. Why? Greater is he that is within you, that is within the world, and act like it. So what they did you wrong? So what you lost your job? So what everybody know? Later for them. They got, what Mother Sil said, they ain't got a hell to put you in. Nothing. Get up. Ask the Lord. Be honest.
That's right.
Be honest to God. When you pray, be honest.
Yes.
Talk to him. Keep talking. I'm going to see what happened. I did. We tried.
Amen.
God is able.
Yes, it is.
God is going to do it for you. You are not lost. You are not forgotten. He knows you. He wants you so bad. He's taking everything from you because it's prime time. This is not a dress rehearsal. This is prime time. This is the story of your life. You need to step it up your game just a little bit and talk to Jesus. You don't have tomorrow. You can't be wasting time. This is July 2017. Already. Huh? What happened to the other months? What was you doing?
Hallelujah.
BSing. I'm sorry. Let's go now.
Yep.
Spend your days praying. Read that Bible in the morning. Read it at night. Talk to him. And watch those demons fall off of you, right? You got him.
Oh, yeah.
If David got him, you got him. It's that demon that tell you, call him up. Right? Huh?
Right. Go ahead.
Go to the refrigerator. Huh? Oh, my song start playing, right? But as you pray, it's not that he's going to take that from you. He's not going to take it from you. Because your appetites were made for something else. They're good. Because how else can you taste and see that the Lord is good?
Amen. Go ahead.
They're for a reason. But once you start talking to God, all of a sudden you become more refined.
Yes.
All of a sudden you're more at peace.
That's right.
All of a sudden that drama is gone.
Yes, yes.
They still there making a fool of themselves, but it's not a fool of you no more.
That's right.
Then you find yourself talking to that person and helping them.
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
God will do it.
Yep.
Just don't give up. Deacon Francine, you're going to find yourself speaking into lives that did you wrong. And as you do that, you're going to get such healing. I always say that love really means between man and woman everything I missed at home. But they can't give it to you. Because they want the same thing themselves. You ain't got it. The blind lead the blind. Yeah. Get married all smiling. What happened next day? Huh? Don't get me started. But if you tell God that you just love him and need him, everything you missed at home will be yours. In Jesus' name, amen? And I'm done. Lord, we thank you. Lord, we love you, we adore you, we lift you up. We give you the praise and the honor and the glory.
Yes.
Lord, bless these people, oh Father God. These people who love you, God. These people who need you. These people, oh Father God, who came on a hot